What's up, everybody? We're live here on a Monday. We are back on the Sit Down, our channel. Hope you're having a great day. We're back taking your questions, talking to Mafia. And I'm joined tonight by someone but you're going to get to know tonight because he's on my show with me. His name is Blackjack, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Mafia. We're going to take some of your questions and just kind of chat. Let's bring him in. There he is. Blackjack, what's happening, bro?
What's up, baby?
So for anyone that doesn't know, Blackjack does the sit down with me. You know, we've killed it. 21 episodes, 22's out tomorrow or Wednesday. What's happening tonight?
300,000 downloads, no big deal. Whatever.
Yeah, we're coming in. 300,000 listens on the show. Who
cares? No big deal.
That's special. So yeah, I thought I'd just have him on for a couple of minutes to chat, and I have some questions for you because I've always wanted to ask you this stuff, and I felt like what better to do it but ask you here.
Let's get nuts.
What's up with that hat tonight? We don't see any gangsters wearing that kind of hat.
You know what? Maybe they should have. Would have been a good disguise. Walking around Mulberry Street in a cowboy hat. No one's going to think twice.
Well, remember Neil Delacroix used to wear the priest outfit. So,
brother, I mean, hide in plain sight.
True. A lot more mobsters should have taken that that advice. Let's shout a couple of people out that are in here. What are you drinking there? Rum and Coke or something?
No. Little mango tequila.
And it's that color?
Yeah.
It looks like Pepsi almost.
No, this is all natural, buddy. All natural.
Okay. Looks nice. James Weldon, hi from Ireland. What's happening? Carlos Munoz, regular in here. Thanks for checking out the show. Brian Scarbati, what's happening? Anthony Luciano Ramundi's in here. Just the guy I'm looking to talk to. That lion sack of shit. Good to see you in here, Ramundi. Do you know anything about this fuck?
Do not. Got a good name.
You're in for a treat. I'm going to tell you about
my hat. I don't know. What am I going to say? He sounds like a great guy.
Let me tell you about this fucking guy, okay? So this guy is all over the internet right now, lying up his fucking teeth about the shit that he did in the life. Now, Blackjack, think about this. This guy claims that his father killed Joe Gallo, Albert Anastasia. He says that his uncle was Lucky Luciano. Meyer Lansky taught him how to kill people. He was in the military, killed 300 people. He almost killed the Pope.
Sounds like a guy you don't want to cross, Jeff.
If he were real.
Maybe take that wig off your head.
Oh, that's right. Good point. Do you want to see this fucking guy? I got to show you a picture of this guy. Hold on a second. You'll get a kick out of this. Let me show you here. You're going to love this. Let me share my screen here. And the people like when we talk about this because they find him to be funny.
He says to watch your mouth. I don't know, Jeff. I don't want to watch it.
You ain't gonna do shit.
I'm a big fan of Anthony Luciano Raimondi.
Hold on, let me get a bigger picture.
I like the tracksuit for sure.
Let me get him here. Do you see that?
I do, yeah. I listen. First, the tracksuit looks to be made of velour, which big fan of velour.
Yeah, but this guy I helped whack the Pope. Get the fuck out of here.
Who am I to know, Jeff? I don't know. People do crazy things.
Because we know. We've looked him up. We've studied it. I've studied the guy. He's fucking bullshitting. But yeah, you don't know about him. I thought you knew about him maybe, but I guess you don't.
Jeff, I only consume content that I'm on.
Yeah, that's true. And we don't talk about goofy fucks like this. So fuck them. Josie's in here. Love Josie. Shout out to Josie. Yeah, Josie's great. She's actually on YouTube as well, and she really goes after people. And I like a spitfire of a woman, and she is quite the spitfire. I like hearing her talk as well. She's got the English accent. I love it.
I could listen to an English accent for days.
Yeah, especially from a beautiful woman.
You could call me the worst thing in the book. Tell me I'm a son of a bitch all day long. I'd listen to it.
You son of a bitch.
I love it. I love it.
No. I'm a big accent guy, especially like I said, when it's a beautiful woman. I'm not give me an Italian accent or an English accent or any of them. They're great. Who else do we have in here? Corey, what's happening? Mind someone else's business. CG, Amber Alert, what's up?
Hey, Jeff, you want to
yeah.
talk about an odd part of organized crime, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, it intersects with what we do in sports as well. The guy who plays Mr. Met was arrested tonight after 2 pounds of cocaine and fentanyl were found in his car at Citi Field.
No shit.
Only
Wow.
Mets. 2 pounds of coke and fentanyl in Mr. Met's car.
Oh my God. I gotta wonder what certain Mets fans that we know are talking about.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. That's great. By the way, speaking of the Mets, did you see the story I posted on the sit down about John Franco?
No.
Yeah. So
John Franco guy.
Yeah. Did you know John Franco was like really close to like Bonanno guys?
I did not, but I'm a big John Franco guy.
Yeah. So back when they were obviously doing a lot of stuff with Rizzuto, they went up to Montreal one time, and John Franco gave Anthony Spiro and a couple guys tickets, and they went around town. Yeah, he was because John Franco was from Bensonhurst.
Yeah,
and he was like really close with a lot of Bonanno people.
Interesting.
Ramundi says, "Watch your mouth." I was arrested and named in an article with Sonny Franzese. What do you have to say about that? Well, I've never seen that. And again, it didn't mention you. It mentioned Lombardozzi and Franzese. Didn't mention you. So again, you're dealing with a lot of smart people, brother. A lot of people are too. You didn't realize that a lot of people can look this shit up. That's the problem that you have. John Doe says you weren't in the article, Ramundi. You weren't. You 100% weren't. Blackjack, let me ask you. You can have dinner with one mobster from history. Okay. You cannot pick Neil Delacroix because he's your favorite mobster of all time. You cannot pick him. Think clearly. Who are you picking?
All right. This is a tough one because it depends on what you want, right? It depends on if you want a guy who has like had a great career, if you want a guy who has been successful, if you want the flamboyance of a John Gotti, right? Like that's going to be a great dinner. I'm going to say something that's going to surprise you, Jeffrey. I'm going to take Sammy Gravano. What? I want to know because I'm
now or then?
No, not now. I want Sammy Gravano 25 years ago. I want to know why. I want to know. I'm assuming that at this dinner I'm going to get the truth from him, which is virtually impossible because his meth-addled brain at this point doesn't even know the truth anymore. I would like to know why. I just want to know why. Was it the tape? Was it the threat of a hefty prison sentence? Like, I just want to know why.
Yeah, look, I don't think you're going to get a capable answer from him.
And I
told you why. He didn't want to go to prison.
Sammy, earlier in his I think there is a line between Sammy pre-rat and post-rat. Sammy pre-rat had a very successful career, right? I mean, he was an enormous businessman. I would just like to know what happened. Like, I want to know the details of the Castellano hit. I want to know how him and Gotti became as close as they did and what the falling out was. Like, I would like to know that.
Yeah, again, I'll keep saying it. I think it has just the fact that he didn't want to go to prison for life, and that's what he was staring down the barrel of. It's just that simple. Jane Creek says, I would love to talk to Sam Giancana about JFK. That would be a great one. I would go Marcello. I would love to hear him just rail on JFK for 8 hours because he hated. By the way, what do you think of Sirhan going to maybe get out?
Surprised.
Why are you surprised? 53 years in jail. I mean,
I was surprised not so much that he got out, but that RFK's family advocated for it. I don't know. I mean,
if you've heard him talk, I mean, he seems completely. I mean, obviously, he was like 20 when he did it. You know, he's in his 70s now. But
I hear you, Jeff. That there are certain things in this country that, like, you don't get out of jail for, and killing one of the most famous politicians in our history is one of them. I don't know. I mean,
I will say
Hinckley got out. I mean, Hinckley shot Reagan and he got out.
Exactly. I've always said, and if I'm the mob back then, I would have went at Kennedy, RFK before John.
RFK,
John would have did but John would have did whatever they told him to do.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? JFK was a go along to get along kind of guy. RFK was a crusader.
Exactly. Jeff, I had a brutal beat on Nebraska, Illinois at first half under 19.5, and they fumbled with 30 seconds left to return for a touchdown. Yeah, Martinez was dreadful. Holy fuck, he was dreadful. By the way, guys, if you have any Mafia questions, we'd love to hear from you. If you want to know what the fuck's with that hat that he has on, ask him. By the way, if you asked Blackjack where he was originally from, would you believe it was Long Island? Looks like he's from fucking Amarillo, Texas.
Listen, you know what, Jeff? I don't kink shame people. This is my kink, all right? I like to wear a fucking cowboy hat.
Yes, your girl's waiting for you naked. She likes cowboy hats. That's right.
Say something. Women like the cowboy hat.
How could I disagree with you?
You wear this out in the bar, women like this.
Yeah, so I want to tell you guys a story, and I know Blackjack will remember this. So I've known Blackjack for a lot of years, and this was, 2018? Blackjack and I were invited to the Final Four by a friend of ours. He was a business owner in San Antonio, and we were doing some work, and Blackjack and I at the time were doing a show together on sports betting, and we were invited down to San Antonio to go to the Final Four. And for anyone that doesn't know a lot about me, I'm not a big partier. I haven't really been for like 10 years now. So we obviously go down there. We get down to Texas, and I had never been to Texas. This is the first time.
I hadn't either.
Yeah, and we get to San Antonio, and we go to the games and everything. But the thing about the Final Four is Saturday there are 2 games, and then you have a day off Sunday, and then the championships on Monday night. So Sunday, our host, who is from that area, goes, "Hey, do you guys want to go out to the hill country, get some barbecue?" And I remember saying to them, "No, I don't want to go."
You have to realize, too, Jeff shows up here. Jeff walks off the plane in some Jordans, a tracksuit, and your hair back then was not what it is now. It was something different.
Well, I think it was spiked, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
And which is how I usually wear it. But like I dress how I dress. And so that day I was like, I don't want to fucking go to the hill. I'm good on that. Like, that isn't my thing. I'm out. No.
We're going to like the prairies in Texas.
But they said to me, they're like, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "You're right. That's true. I'll go." And I'm like, whatever. Barbecue sounds good. So I'll go. So we go out to fucking the hill country. We go to this place.
Green, Texas.
Green Hall, it's called. It's this fucking bar.
Oldest dance hall in America.
It looked like the fucking OK Corral. Like we're in like the rustling west. There's like tumbleweeds and shit. And there's literally like it looks like a schoolhouse and a bar. That's all there is in this place.
It's the best.
And I said to him, and I was like, "Listen, I'm just gonna wait in the car." Like
he did. He waited in the car.
But eventually I go in, and at the time, I remember exactly what I was wearing. I was wearing black and white Jordan shorts, black socks, Jordan sandals, and a black and white, I think it was Nike track jacket with nothing underneath. This necklace. That was it. I remember walking into that place, and it looked like it was probably the most out of place individual ever there. And I walk back, and I sit down, and what a fucking place that was. And I remember Blackjack he was perfect because he was in a fucking cowboy hat.
New Braunfels. That's it. It was New Braunfels.
Yeah, that's where it was.
We were there. I was slugging $1 Lone Stars, watching the live band up on stage, and just like, I'm going to go wait in the car.
I did. And I went and waited in the car. I'm like,
did he wait for an hour in the car?
Yeah. I said, "Let me know when we're ready for a barbecue. I'm out."
That was a good trip.
Someone says, "Did Vinnie Asara die?" I've heard that. I don't think it's true. I haven't heard anyone. Capisci hasn't said anything about it, so I don't believe it's true. There's been a lot of rumors that old gangsters have died. A lot of people said Frankie Loke died. He didn't die. Jeff, I'm still waiting for the response in the email. Yeah, I will. I'll get to you, brother. I'm super busy. I'll be sure to get to you, though. But yeah, that was a wild story for sure.
It was a good trip.
It was a good time, though. If you like sports, go to the Final Four. It's awesome.
All right, but hold on. I will. Let me just caution with this. Saturday of the Final Four is a brutally long fucking day.
True.
Do you remember that day, Jeff? We had Michigan and fucking Loyola in game 1, which was
Kansas Villanova.
Brutal to watch. And then Kansas
Villanova
was a blowout, but we were in the Alamo Dome for like 8 fucking hours.
Yeah, and I remember
after the booze in the Alamo Dome for the Final Four.
Yeah, and then I remember after the fact, getting back to the restaurant and the place we were at, like we had to walk. It was brutal. Yeah. Richard Betancourt is from San Antonio, so yeah, you know all about.
It's a great city. I love San Antonio.
Yeah, it's nice.
I love the Riverwalk. I love the whole city has a great vibe to it. It was a ton of fun. I highly recommend San Antonio.
I still remember too. This is kind of random. It connects a little bit to sports betting and like the mob and shit. But I remember. So the guy that we went down there on behalf of, he owned a restaurant. It was like this really popular like bar restaurant. And I remember one night. It was Friday night, the day before the tournament. And the cool thing about the NCAA tournament Final Four is there were other teams down there. They were doing like side tournaments and shit. Mm-hmm. And I remember Blackjack gets to know some of these fucking players from
Dakota State. Reed Tellinghausen. That's the guy.
Yeah. Like he starts getting to know these like low end basketball players. And I'm thinking like, holy fuck. Like I hope these people don't realize like he's like a gambling like expert. And like that wouldn't be good if like they were palling around with him in a bar.
The best part was Jeff, you should know this. Who was like the guy on that North Dakota
Mike
State?
Daum.
That's it, Mike Daum.
South Dakota
we went out that night on Friday night with Mike Daum and Reed Tellinghausen. And Reed was like the center on the team. He's a big guy. And he was fucking awesome. I think he's an assistant coach there now.
He is.
He was the best. And I remember
you're palling around with him, and I'm thinking like he's a fucking gambler. Like this is not good. I was hanging out with college kids.
I was wearing a Blackjack Fletcher baseball hat, and I took it off and signed it for him. And the guy acted like he just met fucking Michael Jordan. I'm like, I'm an idiot on the internet.
Yeah, because the thing was at the time, Blackjack was connected to Barstool. And Blackjack worked there as well. We both have worked there, so we kind of have this with college kids. Some of the kids like really love Barstool and they know who we are and whatever. But yeah, I remember he brings them to the bar, and I'm like, do these fucking people know like you're a fucking gambler? Like, probably not ideal.
That was a good trip.
Yeah, but no, it was fun nonetheless. But Anthony Ramundi says, let's change the topic. I was with Sonny Frenzies. Fuck off, Ramundi. All right, we get it. You think you were part of the Colombo crime family. You weren't, though. Let's move on. So let me ask you, you're kind of an outsider to this YouTube stuff as far as the mob. What do you think of these rats on YouTube?
You mean like the real rats that are on here?
Yeah, like John A. Light and Gravano and like what?
I think they're solely out for self-promotion. I think that they're just looking to hang on to any bit of relevance that they have. And I'll be honest, you know, Jeff, I've talked a lot of shit about Sammy Gravano, and
you hate Gravano.
I do because I think he's the lowest of life forms. I've listened to his podcast. It's trash. He is. If you listen to Sammy Gravano's podcast, it's basically Sammy Gravano was the boss of the Gambino family and John Gotti was a puppet, which if you know anything about John Gotti, that's just not the way it fucking went down. And like, and he talks about Gotti as like being kind of a pussy, like being afraid of him. And like, I'm sorry, I just don't, it doesn't have a ring of truth to it. He seems like a guy who's just a scumbag. And that's why if we ever interviewed him, I'd tell him that to his face. He's a scumbag. And I don't – do you think I'm scared of fucking 70-year-old Sammy Gravano? I'm not.
Well, he'll knock your fucking teeth out, bro. You better be scared.
Okay, great. I got a good story. Sammy Gravano.
Oh, that's true. I guess it would be kind of a dream to get choked out like across the table by Gravano.
Bro, if Sammy Gravano hit me, first of all, it'd be on the fucking page 6 of the New York Post, which is good for me, okay? Not him.
Good for the show.
Great. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I will take a shot from Sammy Gravano and his old meth addict ass.
Scotch Wangler says, is Joe Watts out of prison soon? Joe Watts in a halfway house, as far as I know. But yeah, he'll be out very soon. A lot of people getting out soon. Bruno Delicato's getting out soon. A lot of guys. Blackjack, who's your favorite episode we've done so far? Tell the people about the show. Who's your favorite?
My favorite episode we've done so far is probably Carlo Gambino. I think the Carlo episode was great. I think it was a really deep dive into a guy that a lot of people know by name, but maybe you don't have the full picture of. I think that Carlo was probably my favorite episode.
A little bit about Blackjack. One of the reasons I wanted him on this show is because we've worked together before. I know him. I know what he's into, what he likes. Blackjack was actually an attorney. Still is. You're still able to practice law. You left that business, but you know it. You know how trials work. You know all that stuff. So that's kind of why I wanted to involve him. And this has worked super well, and I urge you to go check it out. But let me ask you, what mobster do you hate the most?
Sammy Gravano.
Say you got to pick someone else. I always hated Casso. Casso's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, Casso was a bad dude, right? I mean, he really was. He was a bad dude. Although I think, and this is borderline, it's a borderline answer because you're asking about mobsters. Wasn't technically a mobster. The Mafia cops are pretty high on my fucking list too. Like those guys were the worst. I mean, they were just mercenaries for hire. They had the public trust in their job. And not only do you betray that, but you're actively involved in getting people killed and then committing murders yourselves. Those guys are right there at the top for me.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring this up. And I posted this on our YouTube channel, and we put it on our platform as well. So I did that interview with that guy, Chad, and he told me a story, Blackjack, about the Mafia cops. He actually – so FCI or FCP Tucson in Arizona – yeah, it's a two-winged prison. One wing is child molesters and rats and like cops and shit. And the other side is just a normal prison.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that at the wall, at the gate, like the fence, you can interact with both groups.
Yikes.
And he was telling me that when he was at one point when Caracappa came to Tucson, for a period of time, he was in this was at Coleman, FCI Coleman. He was in Coleman with Chad and all these mob guys. Baldo Amato was in there, a lot of guys. And he was telling me that Caracappa, when he came in, the Italians gave him like a welcome basket and basically told him, this is all you're going to get with us. Stay the fuck away from us. You're not welcome with us. And he said that all Caracappa did was read and work out. He stayed to himself. He was
man on an island.
Yeah. He was really kind of a fragile guy. But yeah, they were shitheads. Eppolito was a piece of shit for sure.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of either one of them.
Though I was going to kick out of the Caracappa 60 Minutes interview. I mean,
and the relationship was odd to me. Like, don't get me wrong. You know, through life, you have friends. You have really good friends. These guys spent like every minute of every day together. They retired, moved to the same city, 2,000 miles away, lived on the same street. I don't know, a little weird.
Gravano is a sick old man without the resources of Cosa Nostra. It is disposable. I kick the shit out of him without consequence. A general without an army is just one man.
Listen, I'm not fucking scared of Sammy Gravano. I don't care. If we got the chance to sit down with him, Jeff, you would be a lot nicer than I would be. I would be the fucking hammer.
I think he likes to like
talk trash bag.
Yeah, he likes to talk tough, but it's like
do something. Fucking do something.
Well, I think the thing about him, like, and I heard that fucking piece of shit Frank Pasqua say this the other day, who's another rat fuck. He was like, yeah, no one would fucking call me a rat to my face because I'd fucking knock their teeth out. It's like, yeah, you would, and then you'd fucking sick the FBI on them. Like, you're protected by the FBI, you shithead. Like, and Sam's the same way.
He doesn't have protection anymore, though. Sammy's fucking on his own. And he's an old man, and he's a piece of shit. I have no problem saying that to him.
Yeah, that lone wolf shit he's on right now. Jeff, you wanted to be a wise guy in the 70s. What family would you like to be with and why? Genovese's. I've always said that. They made the most money. There's just something like Harvard about them. Ivy League, you know?
There is. And you're right. But I still think there's just a lure to the Gambinos.
Yeah, you're a big Gambino guy. And back in the 70s, the Gambinos were right up there. You know, it's Genovese, Gambino, Lucchese, Bonanno, Colombo. We've talked about that. So it's I think in the 70s, keep in mind, Carlo's in control. The family's a well-oiled machine. I know you'd want to work right at Mulberry Street with Neil Delacroix.
Although there is an argument to be made, Jeff, that as somebody of a fairly high degree of intelligence, if you went to the Colombos, maybe you just run the whole fucking thing.
True. Yeah, and look, back in those days in the 70s, I mean, all the families were powerful. I mean, at that time, the Colombos were always a shit show, to be frank. But I wouldn't want to be in the Colombos. I mean, the Gallos were fucking nuts. Persco was a fucking snake. Fuck.
True.
There's just too much nonsense there. I'd have, Bonanos. I'm not a big drug guy. I probably could sell drugs, but I wouldn't really want to. So for me, it would be I wouldn't mind working with Jimmy Burke though, and the Lucchese's,
No.
But then it means I would have to interact with that fucking deranged lunatic Casso. So yeah, for me, it would be Genovese's. I would want to work if I could work in any family at any time. It would be Palma Boys with Tony Salerno. That's simple. Stan from Cleveland. Do you think when these guys get out, it will calm down these rats? Well, listen, I'm going to say this. Sammy Gravano has said multiple times that Joe Watts was an informant, which, look, if you don't think Joe Watts has heard that, I don't think Joe Watts can do anything, frankly, but Joe Watts might not give a shit. I mean, Joe Watts is an old man. He might say, fuck this guy. He's done. I'll go. I don't give a fuck about going to jail, What's
the value, though? I mean, right? Like, you've spent that much time in. Like, what's the value? I don't know. I mean, are you really fucking concerned in the last years of your life with Sammy Gravano? The guy's a fucking punchline.
But there are guys left, and there's a guy currently in the Gambino family. Old school guy. I'm not going to say who he is, but he said multiple times, this new generation, they're scared. I'm not fucking scared. I don't give a fuck about going to jail. Okay. Like, is Joe Watts from that cloth? Yeah, he's dangerous, but you're right. Are you going to go do time for that stool pigeon?
I think Sammy Gravano's made himself into a punchline at this point. Like, he's a fucking joke.
Richard Bedencourt says 5 years from now, they're going to miss John Gotti. It's a great fucking film. So good. What about The Outfit? Yeah, wouldn't mind working with them either. Tony Accardo, could you imagine? I mean,
the only problem is that I have to live in Chicago, which you can have.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold. DeMeo called Casso a psychopath. Well, they were both psychopaths for that matter. Crazy Joe is my favorite gangster. Handsome, smart, and well-read. Listen, I'll give you this. He's a good-looking guy. I'm not sure I would call him smart. I think he pretended to be smart. He pretended to read fucking Aristotle and like poems and shit. But I think it was all an act. I don't really believe.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I don't know that there's real indicia of intelligence in his actions.
Yeah, Tony Batter's my second favorite boss of all time. Agreed. I mean, he was right up there with me. Tony Accardo, we did a show on him. I've never went to jail. Only one that can say that, really.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the perfect record, right? I mean, nobody else.
It's incredible.
I mean, Carlos close, but Tony Accardo's got it.
Yeah, I mean, even Neil Delacroix. Neil only did like 5 years.
Yeah, but I mean, 5 years, 5 years. Tony Accardo did none.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you think of like a crazy story about the Mafia that you've heard and you're just like, wow, that actually happened? Do you think of anything off the top of your head?
I mean, Jeff, it's not going to be a shocking answer. It's the most brazen thing. I mean, the fucking Castellano hit is still astounding to me. Like, it just is. Like, the fact that you did this, we talked about it on the Paul episode, that you took out the boss of bosses in the middle of Midtown Manhattan during rush hour, during Christmas season, is just it's when you really think about it. And for those of you who are in here, if maybe you haven't been to New York or you don't spend a lot of time in New York City at Christmas time is the busiest time of year. It's not the summer, it's Christmas time. Everyone wants to go and see the fucking tree, which is just a few blocks over from where this happened. Everyone wants to go to, Radio City, all this shit. This is a time of day that is teeming with people. And to do this the way they did it, it's just the most, honest to God, it's probably up there in American assassinations with Kennedy and Lincoln. Like, it's so brazen to do it that it still confounds me how that was the move and that it worked.
Yeah, I mean, 46th and 3rd, this, right down the street from Grand Central. Like, it's literally right in the middle.
Middle of New York, the heart of New York City.
And it's not like this was like Ozone Park, Queens, or like, something like it was like and they had, everyone had a job. 2 people shot Castellano, 2 people shot Bilotti, 2 people were down the street, 2 people were up the street. Like it was perfectly conducted. And again, there's more time put into hits than others, and this was the most brazen, and it fucking worked. Yeah, and it was like 5:30 at night too.
I mean, Jeff, it's just literally, if you asked me famous American assassinations, it's literally like Lincoln, Kennedy, Castellano. Like I can't get past what they did that day.
I think if Neil was the boss, he would have been very good for the family. Yeah, look, I mean, we actually just recorded the Neil show, and we're going to put it out Wednesday. As I said on the show, and I'm going to say it here, without Neil, there's no Gotti. Gotti would have been killed, 1,000%.
I mean, Carlo would have taken Gotti out. I mean, the Ralph Guion thing in and of itself was enough to get Gotti killed. Neil
had to really, Neil was there to really.
When Angelo and what was it, Gene Gotti were dealing heroin in Gotti's crew, those are 2 instances that get Gotti killed if Neil Delacroce isn't there. They just do.
Right. Yeah, and Neil, and again, I kind of related this to DeMeo. Same family. Roy never had anyone speak up for him.
Nope.
Castellano hated him, kind of understood that he was a killer and he liked that, but no one stuck up for him. He went off the deep end, and no one was there to save Roy. No, John went off the deep end multiple times, and Neil, who was like his father, surrogate father figure, was always there for him. We don't have John Gotti without Neil.
You know the story, Jeff. It's well enough out there that when the Guion thing went down, Castellano wanted Gotti killed. He wanted him killed.
Well, of course he did, because Guion was one of his people.
And Neil went to Carlo and said he's like a son. He should get a pass here. And Gotti went and did a few years, and he got a pass. But
that's such a great scene in the film.
It's a great scene.
He's like, I brought these 2 zips, and you would go, and you cannot go off and kill people you're not supposed to. Yeah, it's just electric. I mean,
funny thing about that movie, which again we've talked about the casting, how it's impeccable. In the episode, which comes out Wednesday, you talked about how Neil didn't look like an Italian. He kind of had more of a general European look to him. He would go by Father O'Neill when he was dressed up as a priest. Anthony Quinn plays him in the movie, an Irish guy.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about that, because we look at 3 people that played Neil in 3 different films. Mm-hmm. Anthony Quinn, who's the best for sure,
no question.
Stacy Keach, which Keach has a good voice, but that's about
He's a good actor for sure. But
I don't know if you remember this, but there was a film called Boss of All Bosses. I don't know if you've ever seen this. Chaz Palminteri is in it. Neil is played, and I don't know if you know who I'm talking about here. Have you ever seen Sons of Anarchy?
Yep.
Unser, like the police captain? He plays Neil in that film.
Yeah.
It's Scottish, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, Anthony Quinn, and again, we've talked about the movie Gotti. Anthony Quinn was born in Mexico. That's correct. But his father was born in Chihuahua, Mexico, but his father was from Cork County, Ireland. So, I mean, I'm going to call him an Irish.
Wow, holy shit. That's crazy. When I look at a younger picture of Quinn, I never knew his name was Manuel Antonio Rodolfo Quinn.
Yes.
Kayaka.
His father was an Irishman, but either way.
No shit.
Anthony Quinn was Neil Delacroce in the same way that Armand Assante was John Gotti. He looked like him. He spoke like him. It was the same kind of guy. It was a great decision on whoever did the casting in that movie should get a fucking Oscar.
Yeah, that's the one thing about it. And I will say, we've talked about it on the live streams. When you really look back on the movie, there are some inaccuracies with it.
Sure.
There's a guy called DeMeglia, and his name is Carneglia. Paul Castellano wasn't fat. There's a lot of things about it that were true, but the casting was so good. Even Vinnie Pastore as Ruggiero. That's a good fucking cast there.
Amazing casting. Amazing casting.
Even Forsythe. I thought he was pretty good as Gravano.
With the way Forsythe looked then, yes, he pulled off Sammy Gravano. The way Forsythe looks now, yikes.
I will say though, he's on. There's a show out called Gravesend. It's on Amazon Prime. He's in that, and he actually looks semi-normal again. So I don't know. We'll see. But I never knew that. I never knew that Anthony Quinn's mother was from Mexico. I never knew that.
Chihuahua.
Yeah, no shit. Aren't they making a Gotti too? Yes. And I'm wondering about this.
I'm nervous.
And I told you, look, I find John Gotti Jr. to be very compelling. When he talks, I listen. Gotti, Godfather and Son is incredible.
Great.
Like,
great
really good. I think his 60 Minutes is incredible. But again, I think he's going to get his hands on this and really make it about his time as boss. And again, I think this has a lot to do with he wants to right the wrongs from A-Light's book. I know, and that's just how I see it as kind of someone that looks at it. I think it'll be good because Armand's involved.
But let me ask you, Jeff, how do you do it with these guys are so much older? I mean, Armand Asante does not look great these days.
Well, but again, we saw it with De Niro and The Irishman. Like, they can make them look young.
I hear you, but part of my biggest complaint with The Irishman is that these guys were too fucking old.
I think what's going to happen, and I told you this, I think the film is going to be old Gotti in jail, and I think a lot of it's going to be reminiscing about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because if you read the press release, Robert Miranda is listed as being in the film, and he played Frank DeChico.
Yep.
By that point, DeChico is dead if we're talking about present day. So
you're probably right that it's probably an older Gotti thinking back and having flashbacks and things like that. But I don't know. But you talk about Junior, and you're right. I mean, when Junior does something, I do watch it. But how do you sign on to a movie with fucking John Travolta playing your father?
How? Yeah, I saw
John Travolta. Jeff, everyone's reaction was the same when they heard that. Like, are you fucking kidding me? John Travolta's playing John Gotti? Really?
Well, I saw on Barstool KFC interviewed Kevin Connolly the other day.
Yeah.
And, I know Kevin wasn't going to ask him this, but I would love to ask Kevin about the film because he directed it. And I feel like I like Kevin Connolly. I thought he was great in Entourage. Like,
I get no problem with the guy either. But, I mean, John Travolta?
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. Mark Lawrence played Carlo Gambino. That was another good cast. The little old guy.
Great casting.
Like, Mob Talk Radio has too many trolls in here. Yeah, what's up with that? Vinny Fleming, don't be a fucking asshole. Mob Talk Radio is a good guy. Don't be a dickhead. Don't leave. We don't want you to leave. Ramundi says, at least I don't wear a wig, Jeff. I don't either.
So, Jeff, take the wig off.
Yeah, I should. Are you drunk or no?
No.
I'm just asking.
Too early for that.
When they get out of jail, they get a YouTube channel and tell us their stories. Wow, that would be great, but not all of them do. Joe Messino hasn't.
The ones worth hearing are the ones that don't do it.
Right, exactly. Like Joe Messino. What do you think Joe Messino does every day?
I think Joe Messino might live like 10 miles from me here in Sarasota. Who knows?
He does live in Florida, from what I understand. What do you think he does? What's his typical day?
Fucking gardening and shuffleboard. I don't know. He's probably laying low.
He's pretty fat, though. Gardening?
Who knows, man? Who the fuck knows?
I'm telling you, if I could interview one person from mob history, it'd be Joe Messino. I'm going to keep
I mean, listen, if we're talking about a guy who's alive right now, yeah, I mean, Joe Messino would be top of the list.
Up until his cooperation, he was my favorite mobster.
Yeah.
1,000%. Like, I thought he was just everything I wanted a mob guy to be. Thought he was a great boss.
Do you think we'll hear about it when he dies?
No, I think he'll be interviewed.
Really?
1,000%. Yeah. From what I know, someone that, from what he told me, he's attempting to interview him. It possibly could happen. So yeah, I think I'm actually working on interviewing Richard Cantarella, who was one of his Kappa regimes and actually was the first cooperator in the Bonanno family. I'm going to talk to Cantarella here very soon. I'm setting that up. and he actually lives out in Arizona now. But yeah, I would love to sit and talk to Joe Messino. I don't care that he was a rat. You know, who would you want to talk to?
I mean, Messino's top of the list, right?
It's not dead.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Messino's top of the list. He's got to be number one. I mean, that guy's. You got to want to talk to him.
Yeah, 100%. Why did Carmen Galante hate Frank Costello so much? Because he believed Frank Costello was kind of the one that got Genovese jammed up, and listen, Galante hated a lot of people. It wasn't just Frank Costello. He hated a lot of people. He was a guy that just liked, fucking around with everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, he was a fucking lunatic.
100%. So what do you got going on right now? Tell it to people.
BetterThanVegas.com. Someone asked earlier if I have a channel. BetterThanVegas.com. Check us out there. All my picks and everything are there. We got a lot of cool shit going on. We're giving away a ton of free money. Football season's coming out. Month-long contests every month. $1,000 free. So check it out. BetterThanVegas.com.
And I will say this, hockey eventually will be back. Black's just one of the great hockey handicappers.
I mean the hockey handicapper. Nobody can touch me in hockey. Nobody.
James Weldon, any movies in the Philly Mafia? No, not that I know of. None that are good. 10th and Wolf is out. It's terrible. But none of the Philly mob. There should be a Philly mob movie. It should be about.
Have you checked out the new Cocaine Cowboys thing on Netflix?
I have not watched it yet.
Gotta watch it. Watch it.
And again, I told you about a show I'm watching. I would ask, do not say the fucking show. Don't. I don't want to know what happens. But again, I'm telling you, this show has the possibility of being the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I mean that. And I love The Wire.
Modern Family.
Not Modern Family. Glenn says, can you drop his link? What link?
BetterThanVegas.com. BetterThanVegas.com.
Fine, you can't just type that in, bro. These fucking people are so fucking lazy.
BetterThanVegas.com. BetterThanVegas.com.
Is it Van THAN?
THAN. BetterThanVegas.com.
There you go. Some of these people are lazy as hell, man.
There we go.
All right. You want to jump off?
Yeah, I need another drink, Jeff. I'm tapped.
You're parched. I hear you. I need a drink myself. Hey, by the way, real quick. Well, actually, I don't know if I should get into that.
Come on.
Never mind, I won't.
No, do it.
What do you think of Biden in this pull out of Afghanistan?
I think it's been a clusterfuck. I think that Joe Biden's talking out of both sides of his mouth, and make no mistake, I'm not a Trump person, Jeff. You know that. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth. He's saying he takes full responsibility, but that it's Trump's fault. He's saying it's inevitable, but we're surprised. Like I don't. We had 12 American soldiers killed in Afghanistan. It's not. It wasn't done right. I don't know what the right way to do it is. I'm not a military expert, but there had to be a better way to do it than this.
By the way, can I just say something? I have Gutfeld on right now. Not that I watch Gutfeld, but it was just on TV. Have you ever seen that show?
I've seen it in years past, yeah.
Cat Timpf.
Yeah.
I love Cat Timpf.
I mean, who doesn't?
I'll tell you again, Fox News has the best looking.
Of course they do. It's their fucking business model.
Cat Timpf, Martha McCallum, Katie Pavlich, Emily Bartiromo, or Campagna, whatever her name is.
Maria.
Like, yeah, Emily Campagna. I mean, they're just fire. I agree. Gutfeld is funny. I'm not really Republican. I'm kind of in the middle.
Who's the woman that used to be Bush's press secretary? Dana.
Oh, Dana Perino.
That's the one. Like Dana Perino.
Yeah, she's like kind of milfy. Like, yeah.
I like Dana Perino a lot.
Yeah. No, Gutfeld is funny. I think he is. I've said that as well. I find him to be oddly compelling. This is ridiculous. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
What are you talking about?
This fucking fake ass Oz character, Nino Schibetta.
Who are you talking about?
Have you ever seen Oz, by the way?
Of course. It was like the first HBO show I watched.
Nino Schibetta was in that show. He was like a gangster mafia guy.
The Liar's overrated. You're overrated.
Yeah, you're overrated. All right. People like you. They say to come back soon. Blackjack, thanks for checking in. Check out Blackjack on the Sit Down podcast every Wednesday with me, yours truly. Give your Twitter out. What is your Twitter? At
Blackjack Fletcher, FLTCHR. They don't give me enough characters. But just Google Blackjack Fletcher. You'll find it. It's easy. Just search Twitter, Blackjack Fletcher. I'm the only fucking one. All right? Yeah. There's only one Blackjack.
Well, that's wrong. There was another Blackjack Toko. He was a boss in Detroit for a lot of years.
This guy's taking the name over.
All right. Well, good for you. All right. See you, Blackjack. Thanks, buddy.
Later.
See you. All right. I'll answer a couple other questions, and we'll get on out of here. Are you going to do more non-Italian mobsters? Yes. Actually, next week we're doing Frank Matthews, who's not Italian at all. So, yes, we're going to do plenty of people. What else do we have here? Oz was a great show. Definitely was. Definitely fucking was. Kat Timph is great. Yeah, and she's very hot. This guy says, I used to jerk off to Dana Perino. Well, good for you. Same with me. Before flipping, Messino is up there. Biden needs to step down. He's too old for this. Yeah, well, look. We'll see what happens with him. But, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you to Bald Sicilian for I know he was on. He signed off because I was coming on. That was nice of him. Thanks him for doing that. Good to see Josie in here. Big fan of Josie. Shout out to her. Shout out to all of you guys for checking in and saying hello. Have I ever seen Rome? I have not seen Rome. No, I have not. But all right, guys, I'm out. It's getting a little bit later. I have to get my podcast over to my producer and get it edited and stuff. Go check out some videos I did on my YouTube channel. Did a great interview with Chad Marks. Go check that out. And I also did a sit-down short today on a guy called Benjamin Bofalco and some of his nonsense trying to fix games in Staten Island. Go check that out. Try to impress some Colombo people. Didn't really work out. So go check that out as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.